Hey everybody, welcome back to my Project 13. It has been a week since picking up the Sony Xperia XZ Premium at 550 smacks, originally priced at $800 back in June when it was released. Now at the time, I had some solid plans on what I was bringing in, and I have a backup plan as well. And I couldn't have forked out the money for this device at that point in time. It would have just disrupted everything I had going on here in my Project 13. Now we're in December. The price has dropped to $550. And for me, maybe not for you, but for me, that's a great price point for a device that has given me a lot in 1 week as far as performance and functionality. Now, there are a couple weak areas on this device, but I can live with those. They're not deal breakers. And there are a lot of strengths to this device. Again, the performance with this device is just amazing. It's a phone, makes phone calls. I receive phone calls, messages going out, coming in. So all of that working, connectivity with T-Mobile 4G LTE here where I live has been great. Have no issues going on there. So I'm moving forward to performance with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 835, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage, expandable up to 256. Working great. This is one feathery, smooth device. You can see it's fluid. Now, there was a little bit of stick there, and I'm going to explain why in just a minute, okay? I'm going to let you know why there was a little bit of stick there. Otherwise, it is completely smooth, and I'll get back to that in just a second. Aesthetically, I love the look of Sony devices. Most of the time, they don't house front dual speakers, but the XZ does. Up top, you have a speaker, doubles up as your earpiece, and you have a speaker down below. Not the loudest. That's one of the weak points about this device. You have front dual speakers, and they're not that loud, and I'm thinking, why? Why didn't they pump up the volume on this device? But it sounds really great. The quality in which I'm receiving through my ears is awesome. Just not as loud. Why don't we go into settings so I can show you how you can best utilize the audio on your Sony Xperia XZ Premium. I love the settings area. Very simplistic, very user-friendly. Let me show you this really quick. 8.0.0, very nice. There's no sidebar anymore that you had with Nougat, which is great because it just was really crowded having that there. I love the way everything is set up with Oreo on my Sony. Again, very simplistic. So let's go to sound and audio. That setting right there is for when you're wired in to the headphone jack area. Sony decided to implement that along with the front dual speakers. So come on, man, that's a thumbs up. You know that there are a lot of companies out there going away from having the headphone jack, right? They're giving you a dongle to adapt to your USB Type-C charging port area. But here we have a headphone jack and we have front dual speakers. Not the loudest, but it sounds great. But what we want to use is clear audio or sound effects. You have S-Force front surround, virtually reproduce realistic surround sound. This is for your headphones. And then you have an equalizer as well. You can customize it. There's different settings in here. Very nice. So a lot to work with your audio, whether you're listening to the front dual speakers or you're wired in with your headset. And of course, you can use Bluetooth as well. Let's go ahead and play a song really quick here. This is non-copyrighted. And we'll play with those settings, and you tell me if you can hear the difference through these speakers. Okay, so I want to stay there. All the way up. That right there is for your headphones, so we're not using that. Now, in some of those, you can really hear the difference, and a couple of those you couldn't, depending on how one was turned on or turned off. So if I have that off, that's on. Let's go back here, and I turn this on, you can hear the difference. But with surround on and the clear audio on, there was no big difference. I could have, oh man, I'm going back out. So I could have this off, and you can actually hear the difference with the clear audio, but not so much with the dynamic normalizer. So this is where I'm saying you have to play around with these settings, and depending on whether you're listening to rock, metal, hardcore, rap, indie, whatever it be that you're listening to, you're going to be able to go in and change that up, or even go into your equalizer and create a sound that you want to customize, or pick a sound that they have there for you to make your experience that much better. So this is an area that, I play around with it, man. Utilize what is here. As far as display, you do have adaptive brightness. I always have my sleep set up to the highest at 30 minutes. You have smart backlight control. And this is an area that I like here. As far as quality, there's your color gamut and contrast. Super vivid mode is where I have it. White balance and your video image enhancement. As far as the color gamut and contrast, I have professional mode, standard mode, super vivid mode, and it's on super vivid, which can use a little more battery, but I'm okay with that. That's probably why I'm not getting really great battery life, but I'm okay with it. I'm having to plug in at the end of the day, but I'll get back to that area as well. There's a lot to talk about as far as that and the display and what I did with my display last night, but we'll get to that. As far as white balance, I have mine up a little bit on blue because I like a more bluish tint to my display. That's just me, especially when I'm watching sci-fi movies on my device. There's your video image enhancement. Watch the difference. Do you see that? Went a little bit warmer. Let's tilt this. Well, actually, I have the rotation off. There we go. Let's see. You can see the difference. I'm sure you can see the difference. Yeah, you can see it right there. So yeah, I'm going to leave it on. I like the image enhancement. I like to get the best of my display, especially when watching videos and movies. So a lot to play with: font size, display size, system icons, screensaver, device is rotated, but I'm going to take the rotation off. When I'm doing these type of videos, there's a lot to talk about and go over, and I hate it when my display goes from portrait to landscape when I don't want it to. And you do have glove mode as well. You can jump to camera. So there's a lot of different settings that you can utilize in here, but everything again is user friendly. I don't want to spend a whole heck of a lot of time. Let's go back out of here, and you long press on the screen, and you have your widgets, wallpapers, theming, transitions, grid, and settings for your display. Here you have your Google feed. I have that on because I love my Google feed. App recommendations, double tap to sleep. I don't have that turned on. Icon size, icon appearance, show names and clock, quick add icons, automatically place icons together, blah, 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 blah. Okay, everything's there. I'll hold it there for just a second. So that's really nice. Yeah, you can change the grid. Nice, and you got your different transitions. I like the old school transition. Theming is really cool. You can download a lot of different themes to customize your Sony Xperia XZ Premium to fit who you are. Okay, make this device yours, different from anybody else. Wallpapers and widgets. Widgets, it's right down at the bottom there. Everything flowing really nice. Just, yeah, totally digging that. Okay, so last night I was watching Damir Franc's video. Well, actually, it was yesterday afternoon, and then I was going back and forth on Twitter talking about, shout out to Grant for recommending this video that I already checked out earlier today, but I appreciate any kind of information that I can get from anybody. And shout out to Damir Franc for this video that he got from somebody else who he leaves a link for in his video on how to always have 4K on your display as far as your Sony Xperia XZ Premium. right out of the box, the Sony Xperia XZ Premium is in 1080p. It's not 4K HDR. Now, on my Note 8 that my son now has, you can adjust the resolution from 720, 1080 to 2K. Okay? We don't have that type of setting on this device. Out of the box, 1080p. Shout out to Damir for this tutorial on how to always have 4K HDR on your Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Shout out to XDA developers for the minimal ADB link. There is a couple different links that you can pick up there at XDA developers, and I'll be leaving links. Shout out to TK. He also has a video where he shows you how to get your Sony XZ Premium to always have 4K HDR. Now, I watched a few different other videos. I wanted to feel very comfortable. I've never done anything like this. Disclaimer: do not do any of this unless you're comfortable. You're on your own. This is what I did for myself, for my Sony device. Once you decide to do this, once you hit the links and you start the process, you're on your own, okay? So that's a huge disclaimer. Whenever you're doing something outside of how your device is already set up, you're taking a risk. Now, I will tell you that earlier in this video, I told you there was a little bit of stick. And that is because that's one of the areas that comes with this process. It's not perfect, but it's darn near perfect. As you can see, everything is pretty darn smooth. I can go into Google Plus, and you can see that. Very nice and smooth. Okay, smooth. But every once in a while, you're going to hit a hiccup. You're going to hit a little bit of stick, because that's part of what happens when you are downloading something that doesn't originally come, that's third party, and there's always a risk. If that's the risk, then I'm willing to take it. If I go into recent applications, there is no information on these pages. You see that? Only up top. Usually you'll see information below the heading. Nothing there. That's one of the areas that happened to my Sony because of me downloading the minimal ADB, putting in and changing the resolution to my device, putting in the information that I needed to through watching these tutorials. There were areas that were affected, and they're very minor areas. Very minor, not deal breakers. But again, just letting you know all of that. But I now have 4K HDR all the time on my Sony Xperia XZ Premium. Again, those links will be down below. Disclaimer, you're on your own. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. My first time, it's not rooting. Okay, you're basically getting a zip file and you're going into it. It's a very simple process. It's a very quick process. And again, there's just a few things that you have to put up with. But for the most part, everything is working just fine. And I have 4K all the time. Now, the movies I have on here that are mine aren't in 4K. They're only in 720p. But I'm going to tell you something, man. It totally changed the visuals on my movies. The depth of field is almost like you can reach in to the display. It's amazing that the icons are sharper. The letters are sharp. Everything's sharper. Everything is just crazy vivid. It's hard to see it here. It really is. I'm going to go in and go to movie. Let's see. Okay. Whoa. And I want to make sure that this is all the way down so I don't get in trouble here. Resume. I don't know if you can see that there, but I mean, this is just gorgeous. I know there's a lot of light going on there. Let me turn that there. You see the depth of field? Even right now I can see it. Just crazy. Just crazy. Anyway, I'm going to go back out of there. I don't want to get myself into trouble. But wow. Just wow. Anyway, check out the links if you're interested in that. Let me go into my setting. No. I'm going to go to my album. It is here that I'll show you a screenshot that I took of where the resolution was and the density, the 480 dpi. Okay. I don't know if it's this way. And that's what it is now. Okay. So this is what it was always running out of the box. And this is where it's at now. Okay. Now, I want to go to battery life really quick. Okay. Go over here. So at 11%, one of the days that I was actually testing my Sony Xperia XZ Premium, 4 hours, 17 minutes with 11%. That's basically what I've been achieving from using this device heavy to a little less than heavy, and then back to heavy, little less than heavy. 4 hours, 17 minutes. I probably could have got 4 hours and a half. And I was doing a lot on my Sony. I was doing a lot. So I'm looking at about 4 hours and a half screen on time with really heavy usage. If I just stay at, less than heavy all day long, where I'm not really using my device, I'm not creating content, I'm not uploading, I'm just making phone calls, sending messages out, doing an occasional web browse, watching a little bit of a video, I'll probably get about 5 hours, maybe a little more, maybe. I do have to plug in a little more often than I have with any of my other devices, even though it has a 3230 milliamp battery, and I'm glad it has that. I'm going to see if having my display at 4K all the time is going to affect that, but it literally almost charged with fast charge. 50% within a half hour's time of charging my device. So fast charge is definitely working. I'm cool with that. I'm fine with that. As much as I use my devices, if I'm not going to make it through my day, it's dinner time, and I'm down to 10%, 11%, whatever it is, plug it in, half hour later, I got almost 50% more juice back into my device. I'm fine with that. So no issues going on there. That's battery life. Again, as a phone, it's working. Functionality, performance. Even though I have my display now at 4K all the time since yesterday evening when I downloaded the minimal ADB from XDA developers and went through the process of setting up my display that way. The little bit of quirks have been very, very minimal. I haven't really noticed anything. I was just showing you and telling you that you could possibly have some of that going on. But for me, since using it this morning to sitting down and shooting this video, I really haven't noticed anything. So again, if you do, it's not going to be a deal breaker in my opinion. But again, that's something that you're going to have to see for yourself if you decide to go that route, if you decide to hit those links and always have 4K on your display with your Sony. But that's about it, man. I guess here I'm gonna play these. I'm gonna take both these devices and show you why I didn't want to do a video with the ZT Axon 7 and the XZ Premium. The Axon 7 is just way better. Okay, so we're going to play this tune really quick. It sounds really good, but definitely not as loud and the quality that the Axon 7 has. But no complaints whatsoever. So there you go. Little sound test, visual, performance, functionality. A week later, 550 smacks, Best Buy. For me, it's a great investment. Totally digging this device at 550 smacks. Sure, you're not getting wireless charging, but you do have water resistance going on here. Again, you have the headphone jack, the cameras, the video. So far, vlogging. I haven't tested the front, but I'll be doing that. But the rear video at night, during the morning, early morning vlogs, it's dark out, doing really great. Pictures, the picture quality is awesome. It's hanging in there with the HTC 11. So a lot going on in the cameras that I'm totally excited to be using on my Sony, and that's one of the areas that I've never had really any issues with my Sony devices is in the cameras when shooting video. I'll be doing a front-facing video test as well, but yeah, I'm not worried about that at all. I love the sound. I wish the speakers were louder. Aesthetically, this is a beautiful device. I love the shape and size of this device. Yeah, 6 inches would have been better, but 5.5, almost 5.46 IPS LCD AMOLED, sure, would have been better, but at least you have the settings to be able to change that up, change up the audio, the functionality and the settings, everything there, everything's simplistic. A week later, 550, is it worth it? In my opinion, yes, it's worth it. I would look into it. There's a lot more to go over, but again, this video is already going on really long. And if I messed up anything and you're not sure what I was exactly saying, if I jumbled it around, leave some feedback down below in the comment section. I will clarify that. Doing these videos, man, I'm telling you, man, it's got to come off the top of your head. It really does. And I don't always do these type of videos, so that doesn't mean I'm not going to get anything wrong. If I do, yeah, I'm always willing to go in and explain what that is, or change the information around to where I wanted it to begin with. So again, leave some feedback. I will get back to you in a timely fashion. Look through the feedback, because even if I don't get back to you, maybe that answer is there with somebody else. Okay, so there you go. Thanks everybody for watching. Peace. God bless. Woo! I am out. Please subscribe, share, and donate.